What do you see, Quinn?
You're so big.
Am I? Am I still so big, or am I smaller now?
Well, you look so small when I don't have it, but you look so close when I do.
Here, try putting it up to your face again.
You look so blurry now.
Am I bigger?
Oh yeah, way bigger.
Ah, very fun. How's it work, Hayden? What happens if you move it away?
Oh!
Am I small now?
Yeah.
So you're the queen, eh, Quinn?
Yes.
Or are you the king? Are you king or queen?
It would be really easy for this to crack and break the iPad, so I don't want it too close. That would be a big bummer, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I don't want the magnifying glass to break either.
Now, Quinn, did you wear pink today because you knew I was going to show you something that's kind of pink?
No. France loves baguettes.
They do. They do love baguettes. And you know what else they have? They have lavender. Tons of lavender. Look at this. Is that cool or what?
We only have two one teeny, actually two teeny lavender plants.
Yeah, this is a place people love to go to see lavender. And you know what people do when they see lavender? They take photos and they post it on their Instagram. You know about Instagram?
Sort of. No.
Sort of. You don't need to know. Something your mom and dad do. So what do you know about France?
That it's neighbors with Spain.
That's true. They are neighbors with Spain. Do you think they're friends?
And Germany and Italy.
True, true. They have lots of neighbors. Everyone in Europe has tons of neighbors, way more neighbors than the US. The US just has Mexico and Canada and maybe Haiti and Cuba and some of the countries in the Caribbean. But they do have lots of neighbors. And do you think it's a big country or a small country?
Big. Big.
Big? It's big and it's small. It depends how you compare it. If you compare it to the US, it's small. This is a photo of the US over top of Europe. So if you took the whole US and you put it over top of Europe, it would be like all of the countries combined. Pretty crazy, right? The US is massive. See?
Yeah.
If we zoom out, it looks really small compared to the US, but it's pretty big in terms of Europe. It's one of the bigger countries in Europe. And how many people do you think they have if we were to compare it? Can you find them on this list? No, you can't, because they're all the way down here. They're number 22. They have 65 million people, which means it's similar. It is still a lot. It's like similar to Germany and similar to Tanzania, but it's way bigger than some of the other ones we've looked at, like Panama or Haiti or even Guatemala. And but even though they don't have the most people in the world, they have a lot of influence. All these countries are countries that speak French. Why do you think they all speak French?
Because people from France went there.
They did. They went there and they lived there and they said, we're going to hang out here and do our thing for a while. And all of the people in these areas started to learn French as well. And in fact, it used to be one of the most commonly spoken languages in the world. Now it's only number 15. There's actually 14 other languages that are more common than France. In fact, this is for people who their first language is that particular language. So Chinese is obviously really popular because China's huge. Spanish and English, we've seen so many countries that speak Spanish, but France is all the way down here at number 15. Have you even heard of some of these languages, like Telugu?
Portuguese, Russian, Japanese, Western, Punjabi.
All kinds of languages that you've maybe never even heard of, and they're more common than French. How about that? Pretty wild. However, even though they aren't the biggest country and they don't have the most French speakers, more people go and visit France than any other country in the world. They get more visitors and tourists than any other country, including the US. So in the US, 80 million people come every year. In France, 90 million people come every year, and they only have 60 million people. So that means for every single person who lives in France, another person comes and says, "Hi, France. I'm not from here, but I'm here visiting."
Oh,
Pretty wow.
one of them.
Is that Hayden?
Were you one of them?
Oh, was I one of them? Yes, I was one of them. I have been to France twice, actually. In fact, this isn't related to me going there, but they used to be a long, long time ago part of the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire had basically all of Europe and some of Africa as one country. So now there's like 25 different countries there, but it used to all be one. Pretty wild. And here is a photo of Paris. Paris is their capital city, and it's like New York City in the US. It's their most famous city and their most visited one, where all the people live. Did Hayden fall asleep?
Oh, there's a fire.
Yes, there was a fire. So this is Notre Dame, and Notre Dame, and it's one of their famous cathedrals. And last year, just 1 year ago, there was a big fire. And here's it burning down. It didn't totally burn down, but it burned pretty bad. And so it was really sad because it's such a famous building.
Were any people in there?
There weren't any people. It was just the building, fortunately.
Good. I've heard of Notre Dame a lot of times.
Yeah, it's maybe
Do you
in some
remember
of your
the-
movies.
The movie, The
The
Hunchback?
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
There you go. Yeah, Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's
And
what it
there
was.
was a big fire in it.
There was a big fire in that. It's true.
Let's see. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Oh, there he is. There's the guy. Look familiar?
Yep. Yeah. He's weird. Well,
He
his
is?
face is weird. Yeah, his face is kind of creepy.
But isn't he really
It's
kind?
not normal.
Yeah, he's really kind though.
Realize in that movie that there's more to people than what they look like on the outside.
The bad guy makes a big fire.
The bad guy
And
makes a big fire.
Well, that's dangerous. He's like hanging from a pole.
People
Yeah,
often
he
do
must have
dangerous
been super strong.
Disney movies. All right, let's see what else Uncle Drew has.
All right, here's some of the different photos of different cities in France. They've got lots and lots of cities because it is a pretty big country. They've got Bordeaux, and they've got Strasbourg on the river, and they've got the French Riviera. It's a place where people go to the beach, the water. It's beautiful. They have towns called Nice and Cannes. They have Mount St. Michael, like a church, cathedral, castle type thing. It's not a church. It's a cathedral or a castle all the way out on the water. They've got the Palace of Versailles. Look at the garden at this palace. The palace is enormous, and look how beautiful the garden is.
Are they known as the most beautiful gardens in the world? Is this considered?
It's up there, yeah. France has some of the most beautiful gardens in the world, and Palace of Versailles.
They don't have any flowers.
Here's some.
Oh, there's the flowers.
They do at some parts.
That's the queen.
And they've got
Queen.
mountains.
England.
Oh,
But when
yeah.
it's not sunny, they've got snow up in the mountains. They've got some of the biggest mountains in the world, so people love to go there to ski and snowboard.
Let's talk about that.
There was a queen in France.
Oh, the Queen of France. Yeah, let's take a look at the Queen of France. Queen of France. Does that look familiar? Looks like she was the queen a long time ago.
Yeah. Is she still alive?
What do you think? Should you guys wear clothes like this? Is this how mommy should dress?
Yeah.
It's basically what
agree.
I have on today.
Yeah, Quinn, don't you have the crown? You just need the shirt.
Yeah. It's not exactly like hers, but it's similar.
It is similar. In fact, they had queens and kings for a long time. The whole country was queens and kings. This is a town that I went to. It was called Annecy, and it was gorgeous. They had a really, really beautiful water, and you could walk around the town, and this is what it looked like from above. It was right next to a mountain, and then here's the city, and then right up against the lake. What do you think? Looks boring, right? Not interesting. Pretty gross. Just an average pond, right? Here's some more of their parks. So there's lots and lots of flowers.
There's fire. There was
See a fire? Oh yeah, it looks like some sort of firework. It's from an amusement park. It's a show.
Wow.
They love soccer. Surprise, surprise. But soccer is not the only thing they like. They also really like tennis. In fact, do you know who else likes tennis? Do you know anyone who likes tennis?
Mimi.
Exactly. Mimi likes tennis. And they have one of the 4 biggest tennis events in the world.
One time she got really hurt.
Mimi got hurt?
Yeah,
oh,
playing
yeah, that's
tennis.
true.
It was
She hurt her
before we
knee.
were born. That was before we were born. Mimi told it about.
Yeah, sometimes people get injured when they're playing sports or doing fun athletic things.
Wait, go back to the tennis thing. I saw something.
You saw him taking a nap on the ground?
Yeah.
I thought that's what you were going to see. He's tired. He just played tennis for like 18 hours, and he's like, it's time for a nap. The sad part is that he didn't have a pillow. They should have given him a pillow.
Yeah.
Maybe a blanket. What do you think? Right after you finish? Do you ever do that after soccer? You finish your game, and then you just lay down on the field with a pillow and a blanket and go to sleep for the night?
No, I've gotten hurt when I was playing soccer before. Me too.
You recover, or you permanently hurt?
I recover, but
that's good.
When I was the goalkeeper, and someone tried to score, and the ball was really close to the pole, and so I dove for it, and my head hit the pole really hard, and
Ow.
I still went for the ball after that, but I missed, and
wow,
really hurt.
Well, that was brave of you, but that sounds really painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a big bruise?
I think so. I couldn't see it though.
Okay.
It's probably my hair.
Yeah. One time I got hit in the face with a baseball, and it made a huge bump. Huge bump. That's all.
I've got hit during practice. I've got hit in the face with a soccer ball many times, like 3 times. That hurt a lot too.
Did you enjoy that?
No. No. Seriously?
Let's see what that looks like. Like this? Was this you?
No.
How about this? There's a lot of people getting hit in the face with soccer balls. All right, moving on. So there's many different types of tennis. Did you know that they play tennis on 4 different types of ground? They play on cement, they play on grass, they play on clay, and, well, it's not actually cement, but actually it is cement. Bunch of different surfaces. Did you know that?
No.
It changes the game every time you play. Like, imagine if you were playing soccer on ice. It would be a different game, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
They play tennis on 4 different types of surface. And so if you play it on grass, yeah, if you play it on grass and you fall, it's not going to hurt as much. But the ball doesn't bounce as much either. So it makes the game very different. And there's 4 major tournaments. Do you guys know what a tournament is?
No.
A tournament is where you bring together a lot of different teams. So say there's 10 different teams, and they all come together, and they all play against each other, and there's going to be one winner. And they take turns playing until one team is clearly the best. And there's 4 major tennis tournaments in the world, and they're in the US, in England, in France, and Australia. And so France has one of the big 4, just like the US. It's called
Australia.
Australia.
Me and Pops went to Australia.
That's true. Did they show you pictures?
There are kangaroos and koalas.
Amazing.
Mimi got to hold a koala.
Wow, I am jealous. I want to hold a koala.
When there's an even number of like groups or teams or people, I usually like to play, like, we each choose a partner, then we like play that game with just that partner, and then another person does it, like everyone does it, and then it lowers down, and then finally it's just the two people
Yes,
playing
I know what you're
together.
talking about. Did you call it World Cup? We used to call that World Cup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more like Person Cup.
Person Cup. Okay.
Yeah. Now you have four.
I think I like the name Person Cup better. We'll go with that. So the third sport that they really, really, really like and are famous for is cycling. They go around on bikes and they bike forever. They bike on the bikes for a whole day. It's not like they go out for 30 minutes. They bike for 24 hours, the entire day. And you know what's interesting? Look how big these groups are. Look how many people there are on the bikes and how close they are together.
I have a book about that.
You do.
Do you do?
Wait, Quinn, you made it at the end. Do you remember why you got that book?
No.
Uncle Tom gave it to you when you learned how to do something important. Ride a bike. He sent you a book about biking.
Super cool.
I know how to ride a bike with no training wheels now.
You learned how to ride with no training wheels? Wow. Did you fall?
No.
Not
Sometimes,
once? Not even once?
I fall sometimes. Yes, you fell one time.
Wow.
More than
I
fell
still
a
fall
lot,
on my
too.
bike.
Me too.
Not often, but it's happened. One time I was biking super fast.
I have a bandage.
You have a bandage? You fell? You scratched yourself?
It's racky.
A racky bandage. So one of the things that's really interesting about Tour de France is, you know how a lot of times organizations and events have logos?
Yes. Yeah.
You know how your mom designs them sometimes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Tour de France, they have a logo that is not only their name, but it also has a biker hidden inside the logo. Do you see the big yellow dot? It's like a wheel. And so is the big O. It's also like a wheel. And this R is a person on top of the wheels. Do you see it?
It is. I don't see the person.
It's this R.
Oh,
That's their
yeah.
body, and their arm and their head is the dot. So that's the person on a bike.
Oh yeah, I see and the little and the U is the seat.
Yeah, exactly. It's the seat. Here's a better shot where they made it clearer. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I see it
Have
now.
you ever seen other logos like this?
I don't think so.
There are a few. Have you ever heard of FedEx or seen FedEx?
Oh yeah.
Look at this. FedEx, they like to take things from place A to place B, right? And look at in between the E and the X of the orange, EX. Do you see anything in between it?
An arrow. An arrow.
Exactly. They have an arrow. Pretty cool, right? Pretty clever. Have you ever had Tostitos chips?
Oh look, there were two person holding it on a table in it.
Exactly. They're holding a nacho and eating salsa.
I never seen that before.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Before, I don't think.
Super cool. So there's all kinds of fun things you can do with design. And you guys know Amazon, right?
Oh yeah.
Amazon, it's got the little arrow swoosh like a smile.
Yeah, well, we know that.
Have you guys ever gone to Baskin Robbins?
Yeah.
For ice cream?
Yeah, on Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts
and that.
Yeah. So did you know how many ice cream flavors they have at Baskin Robbins? 31.
It says it right there.
See it in pink? 31.
Oh yeah, 31
Pretty cool,
ice
right?
cream flavors.
Exactly. All kinds of fun designs. Anyways, another thing to know about France is they have a lot of culture. They have art, they have philosophy, they have history, and they have the Mona Lisa. You've heard of the Mona Lisa?
Yeah.
It's so famous.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm not personally a big fan of the Mona Lisa. I think that you could make a better piece of art, Quinn and Hayden, but I don't know. Some people think this is good. What do you think?
I think it's good.
Yeah, I think most
draw
people
anything
agree with you. Neither could I. Maybe I'm just jealous.
I could never draw anything like that.
They have one of the tallest bridges in the world. Look how tall this bridge is.
Wow. Mommy and Mimi can draw better than that.
I don't know about that. We like to draw
That
though.
is pretty. Look at this bridge, Hayden. It's in the clouds. It's above clouds. Isn't that crazy?
Would you like being on that bridge, or would you feel nervous about it?
I wouldn't like to be on
Whoa,
top.
Quinn, come here. Come look at it from this view.
I
Wow,
wouldn't like
so
to
cool.
be on top of it.
It's one of the biggest
That's
bridges in the world.
the
And
world?
guess how tall it is
How?
from the bottom to the top at its tallest point. It's like 30 houses tall. It's huge. Huge, huge, huge. They also really like wine.
Please stop
So
falling
that's
out of your
why
chairs, please.
they've
I
disappeared.
understand.
I'm teaching ghosts.
Wine.
They like wine. They have animals. The animals are very similar to what you find in the U.S. They've got lots of forest animals.
The first one I saw was that Black Panther or something
Black
in the
Panther.
corner.
Down here, southern France. All right, I guess they've got some cats. This
Oh,
one's
there's a
sleepy.
Did you guys
It's
know
so
that
cute.
Uncle Drew is part Black Panther?
Mommy, look at Susie.
Rumor has
It's
it.
so cute.
I don't. No thanks.
It's so cute though.
I don't find snakes cute.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a little hedgehog thingy on top of the snake.
That is pretty darn cute.
There.
Oh, look at this one with the flower. The
It's so cute. I want a pet hedgehog. I need one. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, moving on.
Never
French
seen a
food.
hedgehog before.
Do you know what the most famous food is in France?
What?
Croissant.
Baguettes.
It's a
Baguettes.
croissant. It's called croissant. We would say croissant, but there they call it a croissant because the way that they speak is so elegant.
Bread.
Bonjour,
Guess what?
merci.
They like bread.
Croissant,
Okay,
s'il vous plaît.
so
I really like that.
and they also have a lot of baguettes. They're famous for baguettes, and they are
True.
famous for French fries. And those,
French fries, like these? Is this what you're talking about?
yeah, and those pie thingies.
Do you think that
And
we
look
get?
at that picture with the mustache and the hat and everything. Oh,
Oh,
look,
it's
they
so
have
French.
McDonald's. They
It's
have McDonald's.
so French.
They're very French fries.
Ah. This is a guy. His name's Julius Caesar. You can look him up when you're older. They don't have photos of him because he's so old, but they have statues because he was famous.
Look, there's a
Um,
sword. for him.
Yeah. Here's another guy, Napoleon Bonaparte. He was also super important to the history of France. He led their country for a long, long time. In fact, do you remember when I taught you about Haiti? And do you remember the connection between France and Haiti?
No.
Well, France, remember, they lived in Haiti for a while. They went and they decided, we're going to live here and we're going to own Haiti for a while. So it wasn't very nice because they didn't ask if they could own Haiti. They just showed up on their boats and they said, this is ours. So they kind of stole it. And Haiti had to sort of play along. But eventually, Haiti fought back and they said, you know what, Napoleon Bonaparte, and you know what, France, we don't want you here anymore. We're taking back our country and you have to go back to France. And after they did that, Haiti's flag was born out of the French flag. So see, the French flag has the blue, white, and red over here on the right side. The Haiti flag is just blue and red. And it's because they said, we're going to take out the white because the white invaders were from France. And they didn't want them there because they were not very nice. The French people came in and they were pretty mean to the people in Haiti.
Yeah. I have an optical illusion in the optical illusion book that Pops gave me of Napoleon.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look, the nails! The really long nails.
Yeah, nails or flagpoles. I'm not sure exactly what they are. But one thing to know about France is they have a lot of money. In fact, this is a list of the richest countries in the world. Guess who's the richest country in the world?
United States!
That's right. The U.S. has more money than any other country. It's pretty crazy. And then China is number 2. And France is they're actually number like 6. It's a little deceiving because the second one is all of Europe. But France is number 6 or 7, depending on who you ask. They have a lot of money.
Why are there 3 lines? But with all
3 lines? It's 3 different people or 3 different organizations went and counted all the money. And they said, let's see how much money they have. And so sometimes one of them counted a little bit more than the other, but it's all about the same. So just for perspective, Haiti's all the way down here. So, Haiti's at 140. Obviously, it's a very small country. But up here, you've got the US and France all the way at the top. And let's see,
I
are there
wanna see
any
what the
others here
poorest
you recognize?
Can we see the poorest country?
You won't recognize the name, but yeah, we can scroll down. The poorest ones are really, really small because, you know, the smaller the country, the less likely they have money, right? It's like adults. Adults have a lot of money. Kids don't have as much money because they haven't been around quite as long and they aren't as big.
Hitler is in the way of one.
Which one?
There. No, but he's blocking. No, go back down to the.
Oh, you want to see over here on the right side. Yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
lot of super, super small countries you've probably never even heard of. You didn't even know they were countries. Most of the ones we've talked about are going to be way higher up on this list. So the US, China, Japan, Germany. So we've talked about 4 of the top 5. We've talked about France and Brazil, Canada,
Spain and
Spain,
Mexico.
Exactly. What else?
And Taiwan.
Taiwan. Yep.
And Morocco.
You see Morocco?
And Haiti.
Yep. Yep. And more that we'll talk about as well.
Hey, where's Morocco?
Morocco, let's see where Morocco is. Morocco is number 58. So they're similar to Ecuador. Ecuador and Morocco and Peru and Portugal, they all are similar. And Guatemala, that we were there too. So here's a bunch of things that are French. Some of them we already talked about. So we talked about the French bread, the baguettes. We talked about the biking. We saw the photo of the French fries that was wearing the hat and this style of clothing. They like their croissants and coffee, their cheese and their wine. And here's some of their cheeses. They are famous.
And it rains.
What was that, Hayden?
And it rains a lot.
Probably. Yeah, must be. They have the umbrella.
It rains a lot.
Yeah. And here's one of the funny things that I thought. There's a comedian in France who he goes around in public and he dresses up in like a mascot. He dresses up in costume like it's Halloween on days when it's not Halloween. And this time, have you ever heard of Pac-Man?
Yeah.
He dressed up like Pac-Man and he ran around a grocery store and he was pretending like he was going to eat all the food because he was Pac-Man.
Wait, what does Pac-Man look like?
Pac-Man looks like this big yellow person. Let's see. Pac-Man game. Pac-Man looks like this. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. Remember?
That's Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm. That's Pac-Man. And they also did one where they dressed up like Mario and Mario's friends, and they drove around in the street like Mario. Look at that. And he threw bananas at other cars.
No boy.
So crazy.
Did he actually?
He actually did. He went out on the street and he took banana peels. But they're big cars. It wasn't actually going to mess them up. They just drove right over the bananas.
Good.
People do crazy things when they try and be funny. Oh, I guess that's everything. We can end on the lavender. Questions?
Any questions about France?
No. No.
No
Nothing?
questions. Did you learn anything?
Go, Uncle Drew, go back. Yeah, that's, wait, what? Where is, we're not right there. Why are you showing the map? On that
I'm just jumping through. What do you want to see?
I'm in this little thing. Our picture.
Your picture. Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll hit stop. And now you can see your big old face.
What would you most like to eat in France? Of the
Baguettes.
And bread. And French fries.
Would you have mayo or ketchup or spicy sauce or mustard? What would you have with your French fries? Or plain?
Ketchup.
You like ketchup. Do you know what ketchup is made from?
Tomatoes.
And? Because it doesn't taste just like a tomato, does it? What else does it taste like?
Sauce.
Like sauce? Yeah. And sugar. It's like a sugared tomato. There's sugar in ketchup. Did you know that? That's why it tastes so good. Mind blown.
seriously. Hayden has some show and tell coming for you.
All right. Oh, there it is. Oh, that makes me hungry. I want some ketchup. Do you ever put it in your milk?
I can give some to you.
No, thank you. We're gonna keep the ketchup bottle close.
Puppy ball.
What do you have, Gwen?
The tiny little ball.
Quinn, did you want to show him your French biking book?
Ketchup.
And you're making me want French fries so bad, Hayden. What do you guys have for breakfast?
Queen had bagels. Mommy had cereal.
Didn't have anything yet. I still need to eat breakfast.
Mommy hasn't had anything yet, and I eaten special yogurt.
Special yogurt. What kind of special?
You put chocolate chips in it.
Wow. that
It's
sounds
plain
delicious.
Greek yogurt with some peanut butter, a tiny bit of honey, and a couple mini chocolate chips. Mix it all together, and it's like
I'll make a recipe for you
Great. Thank you.
and send it, and I'll send it to you.
Amazing. Or maybe next time I come visit, you can give me some.
Here it is.
Oh, so this is your book about the cycling French person. Super cool.
Yes,
Was
see,
it a good
look, they're
book? Do you recommend it?
yeah. Look.
I see. They look like they're biking really fast.
all right. I think it's about time for us to say.
No joke.
I think we should say a French goodbye. Uncle Drew, can you teach us how to say goodbye in French?
Hola.
I'm blanking. How do you say goodbye?
My
Au revoir.
Au
Au
revoir.
revoir.
Au
Yeah.
revoir.
Yeah, that's what it is. Au revoir.
Bonjour. Bonjour. Au revoir.
Bonjour. Au revoir. Merci.